Sweden. Do you copy? Yeah, I'm on stage now, pitching Tinitell. Roughly a year ago, my team and I came together to build Tinitell. It's a mobile phone for kids. We started accepting pre-orders 8 months ago, and we've already got $300,000 in the bank. So this is the team. I just exited from a turnaround project of a steel mill in Northern Europe. Our head of software exited from a 200-employee animation studio that was doing stuff for The Matrix, among other things. And our CTO has recently built the world's most accurate 2G, 3G cell tower time calibration tool. On our advisory board, we have the Senior Vice President of R&D from Sony Ericsson, the guy that did the first iPod manufacturing run in Shenzhen, 2 entrepreneurs that collectively have done 20 startups, and a lawyer from Sweden's most prestigious law firm. So what's the pain point? What are we solving here? Well, I discovered this problem when I was with my friend in Oslo. His son wanted to go outside and play, but wasn't allowed to because he'd already lost a smartphone and broken another. If he was going to let him go outside, he wanted to be able to communicate with his son. Apparently, there's no mobile phone on the market suited for really active kids. So, isn't that strange? I mean, if you're a parent out there, you know how important it is to be able to communicate with your kid. And this is a problem all over the world. The situations for this is when kids are going to school, commuting to school, or playing outside, or if they're out camping, or at an amusement park, at a friend's house, or doing any extracurricular activity. So the way we're solving this is with Tinitell. Parents have peace of mind, and kids get their first mobile phone. It's very simple. You press the big button and it calls people. And you can put any SIM card inside. It's a 2G unlocked mobile phone, so it works anywhere in the world. It's the smartphone app that manages Tinitell. You can have 12 contacts in Tinitell, and you can really manage a lot of different things. So you can say who can call Tinitell, if it can accept calls from other numbers than the people on the contact list, if it answers calls automatically from certain people, and if Tinitell can make outgoing calls at all. From the app is where you position Tinitell with GPS technology. So yesterday a judge told me, so it's kind of like a prison cuff for kids, right? And actually the feedback from kids has been unanimous. Kids love Tinitell. It's sort of like when I was a kid, we had walkie-talkies. This is the next generation walkie-talkie for kids today. But Tinitell is a lot smaller, has great coverage, and a lot more functionality. So the next generation of Tinitell is going to have some improved features. We're going to have a time interface, kind of like the Fitbit Force, and we're going to have brand licensing with Hello Kitty and Batman. And we're exploring some ways to make Tinitell more fun. And I'm about to say something that I haven't told anybody officially yet. We're going to make it so Tinitells can become friends with each other. So how does this work? 2 friends meet up on the playground, and they give each other a high five with their Tinitells. With Bluetooth accelerometer at a time, those Tinitells become friends with each other. So that's the solution we have. How big is this market, and how are we going to approach this? Well, we're working with mobile network operators worldwide. Tinitell gives them an opportunity to distribute more SIM cards, which equals happiness for them. And only in the USA, there are between 5 and 10-year-olds, there are 20 million kids. And we're talking to carriers globally. So let's put it this way. A 10K unit order is roughly $1 million in revenue for us, and that's very small for a network operator. We've already got an order pipeline for 40,000 units, so that's $4 million on the table waiting to happen for us. So let's go back to the market slide real quick, because in the mobile industry, there is no industry that moves or can absorb new product categories as fast as in mobile. We have a lot of people with limited cognitive capabilities in the States that need a more simple solution because they don't know how to operate a smartphone. Or old people that don't care about Facebook or Uber, who just want to be able to call 10 or 20 people. And me personally, I'm excited for when I go surfing, I'll be able to call my girlfriend and say, I'm going to be 20 minutes late. In fact, this morning a Texan friend of mine told me that he would have liked Tinitell last night. It would have prevented him from sending late night messages to people he wouldn't need to be talking to in daylight. So with Tinitell, we've got great traction. We have a very simple solution, and we need funding to go to mass production with this. With Tinitell, we offer peace of mind for parents. We like kids to be kids, and we want to bring simple communication back to the people that matter the most. Thank you.
father-in-law wants a phone that's still on the wall and has a rotary, so you do that one and he'll be happy. He said, Bob, start with
How is your wrist phone not an Apple Watch killer or vice versa?
Tinitell is a mobile phone, whereas all the smartwatches in the world don't have cellular connectivity. So two totally different customer groups and different and different technology too. So the Apple Watch is dependent on a smartphone. You can't go anywhere without your smartphone to be able to do stuff with Apple. Or that's not right, but you can't make phone calls with an Apple Watch.
And what's the price point difference?
We're selling it for $129. So I think the Apple Watch costs $350. But then again, the Apple Watch isn't a comparison, really.
So you said if you have two kids and they have the thing and they high five, they become friends.
Yeah.
So you understand the terrible privacy implications and terrifying implications for parents who may have an adult who put one on their arm and go and high five all the kids at the park and become friends with it. How do you think about dealing with that?
So the parents have the app, which is the command center, and in
So
the app
they
they see every content that's on their Tinitell.
Okay. That's not how I think. I'm just listening. Judges? Nobody wants to go up there.
You've silenced them.
Yeah.
So what ages do you think this is most applicable for? I mean, you mentioned elderly and things like that, but the core kid.
So that varies because different families adapt technology in different ages, and it varies from regions in the world too. In Scandinavia, it's like 5, 6-year-olds. Here in the States, it's like 7, 8-year-olds. But there's also like, that's the core. But there are kids that get them earlier and a little bit later too.
And can I track my son? Are you going to have tracking capabilities on there?
Yeah, it has a GPS, so from the app you can see where your kid is too.
I like that.
I can't wait to hear what James from Fitbit has to say about this, so I'm going to be really fast to give him more time. It has a GPS. The cost is $129. It has an app to monitor where the people are. What else does it have in the app?
It has the contact list, it has the ability to track them, and you can manage the settings on Tinitell, like how it can accept calls or how it makes calls, and that's it.
It's great.
The retail price is $129, so that's subsidized or unsubsidized?
That's unsubsidized.
And
Yeah, the lifecycle revenue, as you're pointing out here, mobile network operators charge $10 a month for it, so there's more money in the game.
Okay, so that's $10 a month for unlimited talking, or?
It varies. Business models around the world vary a lot. In Scandinavia, they're going to give it out for free and charge $10 a month for 24 months, but they're not allowed to do that in the States, so they'll have a threshold price of $79 or $89.
Any strategy for accessories or accessorization?
Accessorizing?
Yeah.
I mean, the strength of the company that I want to get to is where it's more modular. Right now, everything's really integrated in the wristband, but I'd like to have it like the Fitbit Flex, where you just like pop it in, and it's you can put it in different straps. Yeah, like a tweed strap for your surfboard, or yeah.
Yeah, because if you look at the Magic Band from Disney, I mean, they have all these little things that you can plug into the band itself to customize it. So maybe one area that you guys explore.
Yeah, I wouldn't overlook the exercise part of it. And kids don't tend to exercise too much, so giving them the feedback about how many steps they take or how much activity they do could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, definitely. We have an accelerometer. We'll look at that later on.
There's another product in the U.S. that similar to this, that it's all about safety, child safety, and knowing where your child is. That's the whole selling point. The features are about the same. So I think that might be an interesting market for you and something you should emphasize in marketing.
Can I just push on one thing you said, and that's that kids love it. So the second I catch my son doing something he shouldn't because he's wearing this, what happens to it then?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
You said kids love it, but this is effectively a tracking device for their parents to see where they're going. Are they going to love that aspect of it?
They don't really care. I mean, their parent has to know where they are all the time anyway. You can go to the playground, but don't go anywhere else. And then when they're at the playground, they can make calls or call their friend to come to the playground too.
I think that's right. I mean, we have an investment in Life 360, which is basically a tracking, which this should be integrated with, by the way.
Yeah,
And then it's not as big a problem as you'd think, but this is a little more sudden and on your wrist, in your face. One other question I had is, okay, so you fist bump and you become friends. What does that get you? So then what? What features does that unmask for me with my kid friends?
Well, then the contacts are put onto each other so that the mom with the app will see that, one of his friends just popped up onto his contact list, approve or disapprove.
So that means they can call each other. What does that let the kid do? Like,
Yeah,
why would they
then
want to
they can call each other, right?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
Got it.
So can you put the rapid SOS app on?
Yeah, you can do something like that. One of the contacts could be SOS. You could have it so that when you press the button to certain numbers, a GPS position is sent at the same time.
So Life 360 does that. It's an emergency, like an emergency button. They don't have to do anything. Just touch that button and it sends emergency calls to their contact list.
Right.
It's an awesome service.
And one of their biggest issues is a lot of kids don't have smartphones, so I think you're bridging that for them, which is nice.
And how many people are using it right now? How many kids are using it?
As we speak,
Yeah.
10.
10. And is this the pilot test of it?
Yeah, we've just done a really small production batch in China.
And so what have the parents, what's the plans for sort of rolling it out and getting feedback from parents and finding out what's actually happening? Because I'm sure it'll look different once that happens.
So we're doing our beta launch during the summer and acquiring feedback, and then launching with the carriers during the fall.
What do you expect to find?
I don't know.
That they love it and everybody wants to buy it?
We'll see. I don't know.
How much does it cost to build?
So it's a volumes game. The more we produce, the cheaper it is. Now it's at 35. You get up to 100,000 units. It's at 20.
Awesome.
So what's the marketing pitch to the parents? What's the primary reason why they want to buy it?
Peace of mind.
Why want to market through the carriers as opposed to direct? What are the advantages of that?
One really big advantage, which would be they reach a totally new customer group, so they want more subscribers. They want more SIM cards on the market. And just for that purpose, it would be worth just giving out Tinitell for free and taking the cost of what we pay would be selling it for. But then they also earn money on the subscription too.
And will this be included in family plans or things like that, or do you think it to be separate, $10 a month?
Yeah, effectively it lowers churn because every family has an added SIM card, and those families won't want to change service provider as much.
Got it, thank you.
And why can't somebody else do this? What is it that you do that protects? If it's just a simple contact, tracking, why can't somebody else do that?
There are some other companies doing similar things. The big companies don't care about niche markets that much, so that's what we're looking at right now. Like Apple wouldn't do a kid's one-button mobile phone.
Did you say you had 40,000 units ordered or pre-ordered? What do you mean by that?
Letters of intent
From carriers or
from carriers.
Okay. And how much would you sell it to the carriers for?
It varies between the carriers. But going to the nitty-gritties, I'm selling exclusivity in some areas, and in other areas I'm not. In some areas I have access to a revenue share. In other areas I had to sell myself cheaper.
Okay. So presumably it's profitable. It's over $35 a unit.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And there must be some data that they have that makes them think people want this. Have they shared that with you, or maybe you shared that with them and convinced them? To order 40,000 units before they've sold it.
We have pretty good traction so far. We've got customers in 70 countries, and we've sold a few thousand units. They're all mostly parents, 30 to 40-year-olds working at the purchasing areas of those companies. They like the product.
So it's waterproof and shatterproof and all kinds of...
It's water resistant for the first version. Yeah.
Okay. And when you put a watch on it, is it still water resistant?
I haven't gotten there yet, so it's too early for me to say exactly what. The ambition is to make it waterproof.
It comes in different colors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got about 40 seconds. Anything else? Other than James is going to talk to you after you get on stage.
I want to talk to you too.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so that brings us to the end of the wearable